Welcome back, everyone, to Epic Grind, a channel where we talk all things MMO. My name's Nacho, and today we're going to be discussing Bless Unleash Gear Enhancing System. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and click here, and you should watch the previously recorded video about how to gear up your character early and efficient. So this video just picks up right where we left off the last time. So if you all remember in the last video, I leveled up my mage to level 10 and went ahead and geared him up to the best possible gear that I could afford at the time. So what I'm going to show you now is a way to be able to enhance your gear as you progress through the game and you're leveling. So before we get there, let me talk a little bit about what material you're going to need to enhance. If you go ahead and go to your character build screen here, you can see on the left hand side some of the currency that you currently have. So what you're going to need is you're going to need gold or starseed, all depending on which equipment specialist you go see. You're also going to need artifact shards and artifact core. That's kind of like the material you're going to need for the currencies. The other things you're going to need are actual stones, and these stones come in different quality levels. They drop in monsters you kill, or chests you open, or rewards you get on a daily basis. These stones are classified as weapon fortification stones, armor fortification stones, and equipment upgrade stones. There's uncommon, like you see here, rare, which is blue, and you have epic and legendary type stones at that. So depending on what type of equipment you are actually going to enhance is the type of fortification or upgrade stone that you're going to need for that type of equipment. So with that, you're also going to need equipment specialists. The equipment specialists are usually found in any large city or just spread across the map as you're playing. So there's actually three types. Two are the most common you will see paired together. You have the Master Enhancement Equipment Specialist, and you have the Common. You also have a third one, which is called the Unlicensed. You will very, very rarely see those, and it is highly recommended not to use them at all, because the risk is way too high for the reward you will get if you enhance your equipment through them. And what I'm saying with that is that there is a consequence if your equipment specialist fails to enhance your equipment. If you use the unlicensed one, you will possibly lose that piece of equipment forever. So enough said about that. All right, so both will charge the same amount of material, like shard, cores, or the stones you're actually using. The difference between each one of them is actually the currency they use and what the outcome would be for if you fail the enhancement. If you go to the common enhancement specialist and you talk to him or her, you'll see here on the right hand side, it kind of gives you a summary of what you need to enhance that piece of equipment. Some equipment is not enhanceable, and so you'll notice because the equipment card will actually have a fortification level. So these all have fortification levels there because they're all enhanceable. If a piece of equipment is not enhanceable, it will not have a fortification level. And I'll show you guys in a minute how that works. For the common specialists, they usually just use gold. So you'll have an abundance of gold as you level through this game. You'll get it pretty much just by sneezing on something, you are going to get gold. Star Seeds, on the other hand, is what the Master Equipment Specialist actually charges. And sometimes, depending on your piece of equipment, it can get pretty pricey. So like if you see here, a common tier D wand only costs 1200 star seeds, but if I want to go ahead and upgrade my rare B tier, it actually costs 7800. And as you keep fortifying this piece of equipment, it will only cost you more. So that is the one main difference. The second main difference is that when you use a Master Equipment Specialist, if it fails, your equipment would not break. So that is very important. as you're leveling up and as you're enhancing your equipment, there is a possibility that you will break the equipment through enhancement. So if you use a master enhancer and it fails, the equipment will not break. If you use the common equipment specialist and it fails, it will break. And when it does break, it loses 2 fortification levels at a time and cannot be enhanced anymore until you repair it with a repair tool. Now there's a different thought process in this on what you should do if it does break. Should you repair it or should you just get rid of the equipment and buy something else? Well, it all depends really where you are. If you watched my previous video, like I mentioned, and you saw how I actually bought all this rare equipment that I am currently using, it was pretty cheap. So if let's say I'm trying to enhance my headdress of the strategist here, and I'm at level 4 fortification, it breaks down to 2, I'm not going to repair it because the repair tool is very costly. I could just go buy this piece of equipment at the market for another 3,000, if I remember correctly what we bought it for. So I would just start all over again and go get another one. One of the things to know is that when you start fortifying your equipment through equipment specialist and enhancing it, always use the gold first. I found out it's because when you actually fortify the very first time, the very first fortification level can fail, but it will not break your equipment. So really, I'd rather fail it using gold than using star seeds, because star seeds are harder to come by. So that's kind of like the basics of enhancing your equipment. Earlier when I mentioned that there is equipment that cannot be enhanced, for example, if I look at this old equipment I was using, the hat at Adversity, it says it cannot be enhanced. So this equipment is just use as is, wear it and use it as much as you want until you get another piece of equipment that's better. I have noticed though is that unenhanceable equipment, it has actual higher stats than enhanceable equipment. So take it that as it is. Sometimes it'd be better to wear or use equipment that cannot be enhanced, but it's not for the long term. And it all depends on your playing style. Okay, so I'm going to show you 2 ways to actually enhance the equipment. Option 1 and option 2. So the first option is really if you're just playing your own way and you want to just buy equipment or get equipment and fortify it, enhance it as you go. And the second option is if you actually use the method that I use on the previous video about how to gear up your character. Both options are good. It's just your playing style. But one option is way better than the other, and it's more efficient, and I'll show you why. So for option 1, let's say you are just enhancing every single piece of equipment you have. That is the way you play. So you'll start off with enhancing common or uncommon gear. So like I said earlier, common gear requires gold. That's it. So I will go to the common equipment specialist, and let's see. I have this wand here that is a common, and I'm going to go ahead and start enhancing this. So if you notice on the right, the only thing I need here is 1,150 gold pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and start enhancing this by just fortifying it. There you go. It succeeded. The next one also just requires gold. So common equipment just requires gold and nothing else. So I'm at the 4th level now. So I'm going to go to the 5th level, and it all succeeded. It's pretty common that common and uncommon and up to a certain point for rare quality type gear, it won't fail on you. It'll just keep succeeding. Once you start getting into the epic type, especially maybe the 2nd or 3rd tier of epic, that's where you really start failing quite a bit, and it's very costly. And I'll show you that here in a few minutes. So once I'm here, you notice that I have reached the 5th fortification level for this wand. Now what it requires me to do is upgrade it to an uncommon piece of gear in order for me to start again at level 1 fortification. Also notice that it still requires gold, but now it also requires an equipment upgrade stone. And so that's an uncommon equipment upgrade stone. You can always look at the ingredients by pressing X, and you'll see there on the right the requirements you actually need. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do that by just upgrading this to an uncommon. So I'm going to go ahead and fortify this, and there you go. Oh, look at that. I even got a trial complete. So now that it's upgraded to uncommon, the fortification level starts again. But now because it's an uncommon type of gear, I don't just need gold. Now I need artifact shards of 200, and I'm going to actually need a weapon fortification stone. You would need this for all uncommon equipment. Uncommon equipment requires gold, artifact shards, and some type of stone. When you get to rare, like here, you no longer need artifact shards. Now you need artifact cores. And these are a little harder to come by, but then you also need the stone. But here you need a rare type stone and not an uncommon. So any gear above rare, epic, legendary, it's always going to require this type of material to use. Okay, so that is really, in a nutshell, what enhancing is for common and uncommon gear. Now, that is option 1. Option 2 is if you geared up like I showed you in my video. If you did that, then basically what you have equipped is all rare type gear. And if you remember what I said in my last video, I never bought anything. I just used the common and uncommon gear that dropped until I got to level 10. I never enhanced anything and I never bought anything. So with that said, and if the enhancement of rare gear requires rare type of material and actual artifact cores, that means that I will never have a use for any uncommon stones or artifact shards. The way you get artifact shards is by salvaging your equipment. And that comes from salvaging common and uncommon gear. So if I start my character off and never enhance anything until I equip all rare gear, in its essence, I will never need any shards. So I would never have to salvage any common gear. So that I would suggest I would just sell it for gold, and I will go ahead and salvage uncommon and above gear to get the artifact cores. So to do that, you go to the Soul Pyre. You select X and you go down to salvage equipment. And then what you do is salvage any equipment that you want to salvage. Like I said, if you salvage a common type gear, it's only going to give you shards. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll salvage this, and just notice the right hand corner, it gave me 29 shards. But I don't need any shards because I am never going to enhance any common or uncommon gear. So all these common types of equipment, I am just going to sell for gold. The uncommon and above actually give you shards plus artifact cores. So that is actually worth it because you're going to need a lot of cores in the future to enhance your rare to epic to legendary gear. So I'll go ahead and salvage this. It gives me a couple of shards plus a couple cores. This one should only give me nothing but core. There you go, give me some cores, and I think everything else is just common. Oh, there's this one. I'll go ahead and just salvage this. Gave me both. And so that's the basics on how to enhance. The rest of the stuff I can just sell at pretty much any merchant. Stuff that I actually don't need, will never need, and you will get a lot. You will get a lot of enhancement material. So all these I will never use. Don't sell them in the market because they're only worth like 1 star seed. So the gold is a lot better here. You can just sell all of your uncommon stones. I'll go ahead and do that. And then I will also sell all the common equipment because I don't ever have to salvage it. The last thing I wanted to discuss is unbinding of your equipment. So these common and master enhancers can both unbind your equipment. When you unbind your equipment here, you will need an unbinding scroll. Currently, I don't have any equipment to unbind because nothing is bound to me. And it would also ask me for an unbinding scroll. Unbinding scrolls are pretty expensive. The way you buy one is through a limited time merchant or the marketplace. If you go here to a limited time merchant, they can provide you all these type of stones, and at the same time they can provide you a repair tool, which here you'll see they're pretty pricey, either 1,000 core or 100,000 star seeds. And here's the unbinding scroll, which is 100,000. When would you actually use this? Well, you will use it towards the end game when you have equipment that's in the epic or higher, and you can unbind it for 100,000, but the piece of equipment is actually going for, let's say, 200,000 or 300,000 star seeds in the market. That will be worth it because the cost of it is less than what you will actually get in the market. So I would suggest you keep that in mind for in the future. Right now, you should not be unbinding anything because it's going to cost you way more than just going to the market and buying you another piece of equipment that you need. And so this is a level 10 mage, and I would just take him to about level 22, 23, and start enhancing the gear that I have in order to progress through the storyline. In order to do that, though, I'm going to show you in my other character where I need to enhance his gear in order to progress. So here I have my ranger. He's actually currently level 23, going up to 24. So I've actually enhanced a little bit before, I think starting around level 20, but I'm actually at a point where I can't really continue the campaign, main quest, without any difficulties. So, and the way I know that is because if I select one of the quests that I'm actually trying to pursue right now, you see right there on the right hand side, the Holy Book. And within the Holy Book, it says that I need a gear score of 794 recommended. Well, I'm actually currently at about 737, so I'm below that. And so just like you saw in that video with my mage, I bought all the rare B tier equipment for this ranger in the very beginning around level 10. And so what I'm going to do is enhance this equipment in order for me to get to around the 790, hopefully 800 gear score that I need. Like I said before, the weapon is actually gives you the most gear score percentage of any other equipment, followed by your chest, then your legs, then your helm. So if you notice here is that I've already enhanced my chest and leg to epic, and my weapon is still at rare, but that is my goal today. So I'm going to go ahead and choose the master equipment specialist. And the reason I'm doing that is because the fail rate is pretty high since it's already at level 4. And I don't want to go ahead and break this and start all over again. So I have the required stones that I need. I have enough star seeds and cores. So I'm going to go ahead and try to enhance this, and hopefully it works. It did. So I enhanced this and it upgraded me to level 5, and now I can't do anything until I actually upgrade it to an epic. So I actually have the stone for it, the right amount of shards and star seeds, so I'm going to go ahead and just upgrade this. And there we go. Now I have an epic quality weapon. Okay, so now that that's successfully upgraded to epic grade, remember what I said earlier. The very first time you try to fortify at the first level, it won't break if it fails. So because of that, I switched from the Master Equipment Specialist to the Common, where I don't have to use star seeds, but I can use gold, which is a lot cheaper. It'll still use the same amount of cores and the same stone. So I'm going to go ahead and try my luck here to see if I can get my bow to fortification level 1. Let's see what happens. And it succeeded. So that's awesome. I'm actually out of core, so I can't enhance anything else. But ultimately, at the very end, I was able to raise my gear score to 760. So that's pretty good. Usually in this game, if you're within 10% of the recommended gear score for the area that you're actually questing in, you should be fine. Have to just a little bit more tactics to avoid some of the attacks. But aside from that, I'm going to go ahead and go out and start grinding and farming some gear, probably at the Rift, just to be able to come back and salvage some of that gear to get the required cores to keep enhancing. So that's it for this video. I hope you all liked it and learned something from it. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't yet and like the video. Feel free to make any comments on any type of material you want me to make videos on, things that you're struggling with, or just things you kind of wanted just to know. So Nacho here on Epic Grind. Peace out.